Hey guys, what's up? This is Nasir. As you can see, we are today at Hollywood Studios, and I'm going to show you how to do a couple of shots on live shows like the one here, which is Beauty and the Beast. So we're going to go inside there. I'm going to show you the settings. We're going to take some shots. We're going to have a really good time, and hopefully you can apply these tips and settings to your camera when you head over here to Hollywood Studios. So without further ado, let's go inside. Check out all the people here watching these street performers. How cool is this, man? It's going to be sad to see some of these guys go. Just to give you an idea, look how many people are standing here around checking out the show. That's one of the cool things that I like about Disney. There's always like live stuff going on. Now, if this is the first time to Hollywood Studios, you're looking to see where the show is actually done. There is the entrance right here to the left, and we just walked down Sunset Boulevard. And you're going to come all the way here down to almost the end, almost to where the Tower of Terror is, and you're going to take a right. Now this, people think it's sometimes the entrance, but it's actually the exit. So you're actually going to keep on going all the way to the entrance, which is a little bit too closer to Tower of Terror. The first one you're going to see here on the right is the standby entrance. Now if you have a fast pass, you're going to walk a little bit more to the next one, which is right here just before you walk into the area of Tower of Terror. And here is the fast pass line, which is usually open probably like 20 minutes or 25 minutes before the show starts. Okay, so while we wait a little bit for the opening of the show, we're going to go ahead and talk about the lenses that we're going to be using for today's stage show performance of Beauty and the Beast. Now, you're going to see here that I do not have my fisheye or my ultra wide angle. I actually got some other ones, which are basically the general ones that you'll probably have. So if you got a regular lens or the kit lens that came with the camera, you should be fine. But for example, today I'm going to be using the Sigma, the 2.8, which is basically a 17-50, nothing fancy. If you got your Canon stock lens, you can use that also. But I also included in the bag today, which is the 50mm, which is my prime lens. And this one, what I like, it's 1.8. But it's hit and miss, because since the depth of field is so shallow, which means it's 1.8, and stuff is moving all along, you got to be careful as how you get the shots. And then the other one, which I rarely use, but it's always good to bring it out every once in a while, is the telephoto lens. And this is the one that is 75-300, so I can zoom into the details. Okay, so the first tip I like to give everybody is make sure you arrive here early, because that way you can get a good spot. Now, the good thing, if you're alone, like I am many times, you're able to squeeze between people. But if you're with somebody, make sure you get here earlier. Check the times on the guide here, right here, or look at the times guide at the entrance. And get here at least half an hour early. That way you can secure a good spot. Now, there is some differences when you're coming up here to see the show at Beauty and the Beast. And for example, when you sit in the fast pass area, you actually get head on to the stage, but when you're sitting in the standby area, they sit you to the right. I'm going to flip the camera and show you what I'm talking about. Now, the difference is the fast pass area, you'll get the front area here, and if you're doing standby, they're going to sit you on this side here. So it's always good to get a fast pass, even if you don't think it's going to be full, because you'll be able to get a center shot of the stage and it'll be awesome. Okay, now another tip that I like to give people is where you are seating, make sure you put like your bag next to you. Now, not because you're going to take the spot, but it allows you to slide to the sides, left and right. Like for example, here I slid to the left because there's a great spot here where I can see the characters. Like for example, if I get locked in over here, I would just move the backpack to the side and slide this way. That I usually do when the place gets crowded, but since I'm here at basically an empty bench, I should be fine right here with the kid in front of me, so I should be able to get a whole view of the stage. Okay, so another tip is once everything is said and done and you got your final place, put the backpack on the floor and then put the lenses that you're going to be using, take them out of any bags or anything like that, and then put them with the back side up, so that way I can take the top, the cover protector off of it pretty quick like this. I can even do this with one hand already, and I can switch the lens pretty quick, okay? So that's my next tip. Have your lenses ready to go. And of course, if you got chance, make sure they're clean in the front as well. Okay, as for camera settings, I'm going to be using manual mode on this type of shots, and the reason for that is that I want to be able to control 2 of the 3 components that make up your exposure, and that is the shutter speed and the f-stop. I want to be able to control. The ISO, I'm going to leave it as automatic. But as for the shutter speed, I'm going to be fluctuating between 200 and 600, and the reason for that is depending how my ISO goes up or down, depending, I'll adjust the shutter speed. For example, if I'm shooting this and I see it's a dark scene, I'll roll down my shutter to a lower number, like 100, 125. And so we want to try to keep around that number, but at the same time, we don't want to bring our shutter down so much that then we start getting blurry shots. So again, what I'm going to be doing as I'm shooting throughout the show, I'm going to be seeing my ISO as it's going up and down. Like if I see it goes up to 500 or something like that, then I'll roll down my shutter. Now the good thing that this show is actually most of the time during the day, so you shouldn't have any problem shooting around 200, 300, and sometimes even 400 on your shutter speed. But just think of it this way, you want to be able to keep your camera on the lowest ISO possible so you can get the best quality out of your image. But at the same time, you want to keep your shutter speed at least over 125 so you're able to freeze the motion. So keep those 2 things in mind, and rolling your shutter dial, you'll be able to control that as the show progresses. Now as for metering, we're using spot metering, and the reason for that is that we want the camera to focus on the center of the image of what we're actually taking the photo of. We don't want it to try to adjust itself to the whole scene, because what happens when you get the scene is that, let's say there's a spotlight on Belle, but on the outside there's no light. What's happening, the camera's going to try to adjust and you're going to get a really high ISO and it's not going to look good. So make sure you put spot metering. Now as for focus points, set it to the middle, set it to where the actors are, what you're shooting, and let the camera do its thing. Okay, so let's go ahead and head inside and let's go shoot some photos. Let's go. I'm now waiting for Gaston. I'm gonna actually meet him here. How cool is that? So I'm just waiting here. I guess he's eating a dozen eggs or something. So he should be out shortly. So I just met Gaston, Belle, and the Prince. How awesome was that? Check out the photos. I was obviously felt awkward because, you know, you're in Gaston's presence and nobody beats Gaston. So but anyway, that was an awesome experience. And let's go process some photos, see how they look. Okay, so that's it guys here from Hollywood Studios. Hopefully these settings you can apply to your camera when you visit here Hollywood Studios and taking shows like this where there's lots of stuff going on. Now, if this is the first time watching this channel, my name is Disney Nuts and I do photography inside the parks just like you see here. And I do how-to videos and other stuff regarding Instagram as well as Disney. So if you like what you saw, make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the bell to be notified for future videos. Until then guys, stay awesome.